welcome to another episode of the Just Some Magic podcast. I am your host, Morgan, and here on Just Some Magic, we like to share people's most magical moments in the theme parks. And I cannot tell you guys, I am so excited for this guest. We were just chatting before, and I got goosebumps, and I'm so excited to have Grace. Hi, Grace. How are you today?
Hi, good. How are you?
So good. So Grace, would you like to share how you found the podcast?
Yeah, so I'm a big Disney fan and I've listened to like a few Disney podcasts and I actually heard you on Spill the D podcast not too long ago and I just loved your vibe. So I went ahead and checked out your podcast and I like totally binged the whole thing and now I'm in love. So
Oh, it makes me so happy, and I was so excited, like I was telling you, before we started recording, it was so nice to have someone reach out and want to be on the show instead of, like, me trying to get my friends to do it, and they're like, "Oh, my story isn't good enough," but, like, I'm so excited to have you on, and I'm so excited that you love the show,
yeah, I'm so happy
and
I found you.
yeah, and, would you like to share your Instagram and what you typically do, and then what you actually love doing? Or, like, I don't know
Yeah.
how let me yeah, I think I worded that out right, that sounded weird.
Yeah, so I am a health and fitness content creator. I am an online coach. So my passion is health and fitness, and I run my own business. But my true love is Disney, and it is kind of like my secret love. Like, not a lot of people know about that other than like my close friends and family. So I was really excited to come on today and talk about my other passion, which is Disney, that I don't get to talk about a lot normally. So.
Yes, let's open up those floodgates and talk everything Disney, and you also love Universal as well.
Mhm. Yes. Been going there since
Do
I was, like, 5, so
oh my gosh, so you've had very early memories of that place too.
yeah, so I was born in Melbourne Beach, so it's about an hour away from Orlando, so I grew up going to Disney and Universal from since I was born until now that I'm 26, so I have a lot of experience.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful, and were you a Harry Potter fan as well? Because that's, like, one of the big draws that people do go to Universal, but you were already going to Universal prior to that. That's so
Oh, yeah,
cool.
big Harry Potter fan. My dad used to read us the books before bed. Like, he would read a chapter to my brother and we were just, like, the biggest fans growing up. I saw all of them in
Oh,
theaters and big Harry Potter fan here.
I love that. Do you know your Harry Potter Hogwarts house?
So my fiancé says I'm Gryffindor, but I think I'm a Hufflepuff.
Oh, okay. You'll have to take the official Pottermore quiz
I
or the
know,
Wizarding
I
World
need to.
quiz and get back to us because 'cause I'd be very curious to know. But, so we can get to know you a little bit more. I'll just ask you a couple questions, and you're a big fan, so you probably already know these, but
Mhm.
why do you love theme parks?
So growing up as a kid, I had a lot of anxiety and Disney was like one of the only things that like really calmed me down and just let me forget about everything. And so growing up with Disney and like having it be like my safe space it kind of just grew into like such a big love for me. Like growing up now that I'm an adult, just going back to Disney is just something that like takes my mind off of everything and it's just like one of the only places where I feel like I don't have to worry about anything, and it's just, like, my sense of, like, calm and home. That's what it feels like to me.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And you're married. Is your husband as big of a theme park fan as you, or you kind of had to ease him into it, or how is that?
Well, that's what my story is about today. We actually
Oh,
met
okay.
in, the parks, but, yeah, we just got engaged, so not married yet, but soon
Oh,
to
okay.
be. But, yeah, I'll share that story.
Perfect, perfect. So that was just a little teaser. Perfect, perfect. Okay. So, not necessarily your favorite character, but what character do you most identify with that you are the most similar to?
Yeah, so I don't know if you get this a lot, but I feel like I relate mostly to Tiana. She's like one of
Ooh.
my favorite princesses, but I relate to her so much because I grew up like so close to my dad and so close to my family, and it was always in our family that you have to work for what you want. So I related to that so much. And then going into college, I had to pay my way through college and work 3 jobs in order to afford it. And I felt like Tiana, like in that scene where she's working and her friends want her to go out, and she's like, "No, I have to work for what I want."
Yeah.
So that's what I did all through college. I never went out. I like never had fun because I had a goal in mind. My dream was to work like either in New York or in LA for like a big marketing company. And that was my dream to, work for corporate and just like build this dream life that I wanted. So my dream definitely shift like Tiana's did.
Yeah.
And I'll get into that later too. So definitely
Oh
Tiana,
my
she's my girl.
Oh, absolutely, and it sounds like you mentioned the scene with her friends, like, "Come out dancing with us," and she's like, "I don't
Hmm.
dance," and I l
Yeah,
again, love her voice, but
me
I
too.
love the scene where she's coming back from her night shift, puts her like, lays down, literally 2 seconds later, her alarm goes off, and then she goes to the next job. Was that literally you in
Literally
college?
me. Yes, every time we watch that movie, my fiance's like, "That is so you. You did the same exact thing." I'm like, "I know."
Oh my god.
So,
Oh. Okay, so I usually ask this for Disney rides, but I'll since you've been going to Universal since you were really, really little, I'll ask for Universal as well. So two separate answers. But
okay.
if you could go on any retired Disney ride or and Universal ride, what would it be and why?
Oh, I guess for Disney, it's kind of hard for me to choose. So either the Great Movie Ride, which was one of my favorites, or
Mhm.
Ellen's ride. I forget the name. Why
Oh,
am I blanking
Ellen's
on the name?
Energy of Progress or something
Yes.
like that. Yes.
Yes, I loved that ride. Like I'm a big like dinosaur and like science fan when I was a kid, so that was one of my favorites. So probably one of those two. But for Universal, I always loved the Jaws ride, and I feel like I would love to ride that again to see what it's like as an adult.
Oh my gosh, I would have loved to have gone on that. I didn't start going, to Universal till I was 21 and during the Disney college program days, and that ride was already, like, taken out for them to prep for
Yeah.
Diagon Alley, and so I never got to do it, but as a kid, was it terrifying or was it fun? Did you kinda know it was, like, like not real, or did you, like, genuinely believe, like, "Oh my gosh, a shark is really there?"
Yeah, like, I remember as a kid being like, "Oh my gosh, there's an actual shark in this park right now." Like, it was so realistic to me, and, like, when they would have the actor come out and, like, shoot the shark, like, I was like, because I love sharks and I'm, like, a big, like,
Yeah.
ocean girl, but that was, like, a huge thing for me, like, I thought the whole thing was real. It felt so real as a kid, so I'd love to go back
Oh.
on it now as an adult and see how it is.
Oh, yes. You make me wanna go on YouTube and, like, watch a
You
ride-through
should.
video.
You
Oh my
should. Yeah.
goodness.
I actually should too to see if I remember it the same, but that was like one of my
Mhm.
favorite rides as a kid.
Oh my gosh, I love it, and, my last, question would be, what attraction would you be devastated if it got demolished during your lifetime? Updates and improvements are acceptable, though.
Hmm. Um, so I'm like a huge fan of Dinosaur the Ride. That's like one of my
Yes,
favorite rides ever. It's just like my happy ride, I feel like. And I feel like
yes.
if they got rid of it, which I don't know, I feel like they probably will get rid of it soon. I feel like I'd be pretty sad. I love that ride.
You know what? Me too. It was one of my favorites to do in Animal Kingdom, and I feel
Mhm.
like, Dino Land area, I feel like Dinosaur just naturally is gonna be on the chopping block,
I
but
know.
have you been to Disneyland?
So I went to Disneyland for my first time, and I think we were there around the same time because I remember listening to your podcast, like one of your previous ones, and you were like, "Oh, it was
Yes.
raining and hailing." And I
Yes,
think you
yes.
went February, March time, right? Was that when you went?
Yes, right at the yeah, right as it was switching a very last week of February.
Yeah, so I was there at the same exact time, and that was my first time ever at Disneyland.
Oh, so you got that wonderful weather too.
Yes, it was freezing. We had to buy like, we were so cold that day, and I'm very like, I don't usually buy anything in the parks because I'm pretty, like, frugal. But
Yes.
I had to buy 2 sweatshirts that day that were each $50 because I was so cold.
Oh my goodness. I feel you, and if it wasn't for my friend Lindsay, I, like, had all these cute Disney bounce planned and all of these cute
Oh,
outfits. We had to completely 180 it when we found out it was gonna be
yeah.
that cold. We stocked up at Disney Springs, went to Uniqlo, got all the warm weather things, and then we're like, "Okay, here we go." But again, layer upon layer upon layer, and it is not usually that cold in,
Yeah.
California.
Oh my gosh, like, I, like, brought my swimsuit and shorts and, like, I was like,
Yes.
"Oh, it's gonna be beautiful," but it ended up being absolutely freezing, like, colder than here in North Carolina, and I was like, I was just not prepared at all.
Oh, no. Oh my gosh. I ended up buying like you said, being frugal. I don't
Mm,
usually do it, but I bought a beanie and I was like, thank goodness I bought a beanie because my little
yes.
head was cold and everything.
Mhm.
And were you just there one day or were you there multiple days?
We did 3 days. So we
Okay.
did, 1 day in each park, and then the last day we did both.
Oh, awesome. Were you able to catch the Magic Happens parade the one day that it opened?
No, we left the day before it opened, so I think it was the
Dang.
day or the day that we left it started. I know, it's really sad I missed it, but I got to see, like, all of the 100th stuff and,
Yes.
Wondrous Journeys, is that
Yes,
what the
yes,
show is? I
yes.
loved that, that was awesome.
Honestly, I'm always like I'm not super crazy about fireworks and stuff like that. I'm more of a show person with like actors and
Mhm.
effects and more phantasmic or stage shows my scene. But Wondrous, this
Oh
sounds
my
stupid,
gosh,
but it was wonderful. And
it
when
was.
did you have a favorite part in it by any chance?
Definitely the Tiana part. That, like, part spoke to me. It was just
Yes.
so sweet, but I heard that Baymax comes out. We didn't get to see that. Is that true? I
Yes.
don't know. I think because the weather
Yes.
was so bad.
I think so too. I saw it one night where they didn't do fireworks at all, but they had Baymax and then
Yeah.
the Fairy Godmother, but I never saw them on the same night because whatever technical difficulties were happening. But yeah, there's like a flying part and you just see Baymax just go and he's got the
Oh,
little rockets
cute.
and everything. And the Blue Fairy, I believe, comes towards the end, but like
Okay.
Tiana is one of your favorites. Aurora is mine. And so when I saw the little bit of
Mm.
her, I'm like, ah, yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I
Um,
loved how they did, like, Pocahontas with the Tiana, like, with the
yes.
Tiana. I forget what song it was, but they, like, mixed Pocahontas in there. It was just it was so I
Yeah.
this is might be a, hot take, but I think I liked it better than, Happily Ever After.
Ooh, my goodness. I don't have strong ties to Happily Ever After. I've only seen it like less than 5 times, but I know everybody else is very excited about it. So that is a very
Mm.
good hot take. Oh my goodness. Um what did you think of the part when it's Belle, Hercules, Moana, and then later in The Hunchback of Notre Dame all like singing together and it's just
Oh
like
my
whoosh.
gosh, it was so amazing. We watched it twice. I was like, "We have to go back on our last day to watch that again."
Mhm.
It was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah. I love how they compose the music, and it's songs we all know and love,
Mhm.
but they just blend it so beautifully together. It's just it gave me
I
goosebumps, and it just
know.
uh, oh, let
It's
let's just go
so
back to
good.
Disneyland. I heard the weather's a little bit
I
better
would
there. I
go
heard it's hailing in
anytime.
Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like, anytime I'm having, like, a stressful day, I will put on the song, it's Wondrous. It, like, clears up all my
Yes.
stress. I'm like,
Mm,
"This song just, like, puts me back into a good mood." It's so
yes.
good.
You say that, on my drive, whenever I just have a long drive, I'll like go through the podcast, I'll talk to friends, I'll listen to music, but then sometimes I'll go in and listen to different Disney parades. And so, did you ever get to
Yes!
see the Soundsational parade at Disneyland for a couple years ago?
No, that was my first time at Disneyland, so I
Oh,
didn't
that
even
was your very
Mhm.
first time. Oh my gosh. Well, we need to get you over there more often. Oh my
I
goodness.
know, it's always been my dream to go over there, but since I live so close to Disney World, we were just like, like, "Why would we spend so much money? We have an annual pass at Disney World, like, maybe one
Mhm.
day." So it was our 6-year anniversary, so we're like, "Let's do it, let's go. Let's, like,
Oh,
finally make the trip."
that's
So
so sweet. Well, Anyway, the reason I originally brought up Disneyland is because the Indiana Jones attraction, which if you went the same week I did, it was down for
Yeah.
refurbishment while we were there. But it is the exact same track. But if you love dinosaur, you'll love Indiana Jones because when I
Oh,
first did it,
no.
it was I was like, "I love dinosaur, it's so cool," but then the theming and the immersion of Indiana Jones just is heightened, and, so I would love if you would go on it. You need to go on it. Don't watch ride through videos yet. Just enjoy it before or, like, hold out for when you guys can go back. Um,
Yes.
but I did hear rumblings of them possibly switching Dinosaur to Indiana Jones. It's
Yes, I
like
heard that too.
yeah,
I don't know how I
I
feel.
yeah, I wouldn't necessarily be upset because I know what they could do over at Disneyland, but I just don't know how it would tie into Animal Kingdom as well.
I
What do
know.
you
I feel
think?
like it would kind of fit like the vibe, but I don't
Mhm.
know. I really want to go on it at Disneyland, but that was like the one thing I was looking forward to doing, and then we got there and it was
And
closed. I'm like,
it's
but
closed.
I heard someone say there's like every time you go to Disneyland, there's always going to be something closed that you want to ride, so that makes you want to come back. So I'm like, okay, we'll have to come back like next year and see if it's open.
There you go. It'll all be refurbished and stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, let me think of one more good question. Um, so I know you are out of state, but how often are you able to go to Disney, Disney World specifically?
Yeah, so we just bought the annual pass. I like waited in the queue to get it
May the
because
odds be ever in your favor when people go do that.
yeah. Oh my, because I still a Florida resident. I'm still technically a Florida resident, so I got the Florida resident deal. So I got
Hey.
like the cheaper one, so I got that. But I go home probably once every 2 months because my family lives in Melbourne Beach, so I go to see
Oh,
them
perfect.
very often. And when I do, we definitely try to go to Disney. The last time I went home, I went to Disney Springs with my friend, and then like 20 of my friends surprised me there. So
Oh,
we always go. If it's not Disney, it's Disney Springs, but I try to go as much as I can. So
absolutely. Was there a special occasion for your friend surprising you, or did it just like Grace is in town, let's go?
So I've been feeling kind of homesick because like I'm very close to my friends and family back home, and
Mhm.
since we're military, we move a lot. So we're in North Carolina now, and I was just talking to one of my best friends. I was just like, I really miss you guys. Like I miss being home because they all see each other every single weekend,
Mhm.
almost every day, and they're always
Oh,
FaceTiming me, and I'm like the one that's not there. So,
yeah.
when I came home, like they were all like, "Oh, we're busy. We're in meetings. We can't come see you." I'm like, "Dang, like I'm coming home for the weekend. You guys can't make time to see me." So, my
Oh.
one best friend was like, "Let's go to Disney Springs. I'll cheer you up. I got a reservation at Raglan Road and we'll like just have a little dinner you and I." So I'm like, "Okay, that sounds perfect." So,
Mhm.
we walked into Disney Springs and they rented out or just got like the huge table section on the side and it was like probably 20 to 25, I think, or it was 25 of our friends there,
No.
all
Oh,
there surprising me. It was so sweet.
oh my gosh, what good friends you have.
I
Oh my
know. I feel so
goodness.
blessed to have them. It was so nice.
Oh my gosh, and I love a good surprise, but I think it's funny when you have the highs and lows of, like, the low part of, like, "Oh, we can't hang out," and you're thinking like, "Oh, they don't wanna see me," and then when you actually
Mhm.
get to see them and it was a whole surprise and they didn't like, you just shoot up even higher and it's so great. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
what
I
good
was like, "What
friends
the
you
heck?"
have.
I'm like, "You guys can't come see me? Like, you live right there. You can't come see me?" And they're like, "No, I'm sorry. We're super busy." So, but yeah, it
Oh.
was awesome. It was so sweet.
And are they as big a Disney fans as you, or just kind of a general Disney Springs is a good central location for everybody kinda deal?
Yeah, like most of them are just like they would go to Disney Springs and like we would always do like Disney Springs for like birthdays, but my one best friend who did Disney Spring who set that up, she is like a huge Disney fan like me and I've known her since I was 4 years old and we've been going to
Oh,
Disney together since we were 4. So, she's like
oh,
my only friend that's like really into Disney. So,
absolutely. And, have you gotten a chance to listen to the very first episode with me and my Disney bestie by any chance?
what was her name?
Sarah?
Yeah, yeah, I listened to that one. Yeah, is
Okay.
she the one you surprised at
Yes,
Frozen?
yes, yes,
Okay, yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
The reason I ask is because, did you hear the description of our theme park soulmate? And so, for those that haven't listened to that episode, I describe theme park soulmates as somebody who you go to the parks with, you have the same rhythm, the same interest, and it's like going to the parks with them is an absolute breeze. Would you consider that friend that you've known since you were 4 your theme park soulmate?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's like she is like we would go like after class. She's like, "Hey, do you just want to go ride Flight of Passage?" I'm like, "Sure." So she would pick me up and we would go, or just like on the weekends we'd go to the beach and then we'd go to Epcot at night. And she was just like so on the same wavelength as me. We would just do everything together at Disney. It was so much fun. So can't wait to be back in
Oh.
Florida so we can do that again.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I need to get her on too, and you or both of you together. That would be so much fun.
Yeah, that
Oh
would be
my
awesome.
gosh. Well, Grace, thank you so much for answering all of those questions. I feel like we got to know you a bit more, and I still haven't decided if I can see you as a Gryffindor or Hufflepuff, but I can definitely see traits in both for sure. But now I'll let you kind of take it away and share your most magical moment.
Yeah, so I want to tell you guys about how I met my fiance at Disney. So I was back in college and I was in my Tiana phase where I was, working hard and, I didn't want a boyfriend and I was just, on my own independent path. And my one best friend, who is my, what do you call it, theme park soulmate?
Yes, your
Is that
theme
what it
park soulmate.
Yeah. So, I would go to Disney with her, maybe, like, once a month when I had some free time, and she would bring her boyfriend, so I would always third wheel,
Oh
um, but
no.
I didn't mind. I was like, "At least I still get to be with my best friend, and I like
Yeah,
her boyfriend," so I didn't mind third wheeling because 'cause I'm like, "At least I have people to go to Disney with." Um,
absolutely. Can I ask a quick question?
yeah.
Did when, a lot of the you're 3 people, it's very rare
Mhm.
there's a ride with 3 people, it's usually 2 or 4 or etcetera. Would your friend sit with you or would your friend sit with her boyfriend?
At the beginning, it was her and her boyfriend, and I was always
Uh-huh.
the single one, had to ride with a
Oh.
a stranger, but then he was like, "Grace, you can sit with Lizzie, you can sit with her this time," and so so that is one of the reasons why she was like, "We need to find you a boyfriend that has an annual pass, so that way you're not third wheeling with us every single time." So, I was like,
Perfect.
no, I don't want a boyfriend. I don't, I'm happy being the third wheel, it's totally fine.
You're like, "I don't
So,
have time for this. I got goals and dreams to focus on. We got a restaurant to build or a
yes,
degree to." Oh my
exactly. So, yeah, so one day we did Animal Kingdom, us 3. So we were, doing a whole day and we had gotten on Everest or waiting in line for Everest. Um, And we always my best friend and I, we always make a wish with a penny. Do you know, like, in the waiting line for Everest where, like, they have all of those, like, kinda like building
statues?
type. Yeah, and there are
Oh.
all those pennies on there.
Mhm.
So my best friend and I always make a wish on
Oh,
those, like, buildings. So she was
yeah.
like, "I wish for Grace to have a boyfriend and to finally fall in love." And I was, like, rolling my eyes. And she's like, "We need you to have someone so you're not always, the third wheel and riding by
Mhm.
yourself on these rides." And I was like, "Okay." So we got off of Everest and she was like, "I'm gonna set you up with somebody that has an annual pass." And I'm like, "You're never gonna find that." So she was on Instagram and she saw that one of her friends was at Disney that exact same day. So she's like, "Oh,
Oh.
one of my best friends is at Disney and he's single. Why don't you guys try to talk?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. That's so awkward, like meeting up in Disney."
Yeah.
So he was at
You're like
Epcot and yeah, I was
you
like,
were like, "I trust you, best friend," but also, like, the situation, like, when you both know that, like, you're being set up, it's like, "Hi," like so awkward. Like, there's no not awkward way to do it for sure.
Yeah, it was like so she's like, "Let's jump over to Epcot and so you can meet him." And I was like, "No, I'm not doing it." I'm like, "We're gonna go home. I don't wanna meet
Yeah.
him. That's so awkward." So we went home, and so then she's like, "I have something planned for us next week." So we go to Disney, and it was a blind date with him.
Oh.
So we went to Epcot and I met him, and he was totally not my type at all. But we had
Oh.
almost an instant connection because we both like love Frozen. We were like talking about Frozen, like how we have to go on the Frozen ride. So we rode the Frozen ride and then we did
Oh.
drinks around the world. And I honestly had the most amazing time. And my best friend was like behind us, like,
Told ya.
yeah.
Probably like a
So
proud little mom, like, I so that when you met up, it wasn't like a, "Okay, this is a blind date," and they dipped, like, you guys kinda all stayed together
no,
and kinda
yeah,
double dated a bit?
it was a double date, so it wasn't, like, too awkward at first. But, like, we instantly clicked, and it was just such a fun date, and, like, I've never been on a date at Disney, so it was just, like, a different experience for me. So it's because usually we're,
Yeah.
like, running through like, me and my best friend, like, we, like, sprint through the parks, like, ride to ride to ride, and, like, we just, like, do everything on a fast track. But when it was a date, it was like, "Okay, like, we're gonna sit here and talk, and we're gonna get a drink, and we're gonna, like, take our time." So it was definitely a
Casual
different way.
conversations.
Yes, it was, like, a different way to experience Disney for sure. Um,
Uh-huh.
so then we planned to have our 2nd date at Magic Kingdom. So we went the next week, we went to Magic Kingdom, and we had dinner on the hub grass. Is that what it's called? Hub grass?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And then
Oh.
we watched the fireworks together. And from then on, it was like it was just meant to be. Um,
Oh my
so it
goodness.
was kind
Did
of
you have
like
your first kiss on the hub grass, or was that later on, or
we had our first kiss on the People Mover. So
Oh, that's
kind of
kind of
funny.
adorable.
Yeah,
I
so
love it.
I did not want a boyfriend at all, and going to if it weren't for Disney, I would have never met him. So that kind of like plays into how like I kind of relate to Tiana because she never knew that like she needed like like a partner in life and which is
Mhm.
what I really needed. And he kind of shifted my dreams for me because I wanted to be in corporate, work in marketing, and he's military, so I decided to drop my life for him and move out with him to, go on this military journey with him. And now
Mhm.
I'm actually following my own dream now of pursuing health and fitness because that was like really the only thing I could do with traveling so much. So now I'm really like this is what I was meant to do. So just meeting him was like such a blessing. But so from then on, we had all of our 1 year anniversaries were always a Disney staycation. So
Oh.
we would pick a hotel and we would do Disney for like 3 or 4 days every year. And this past year, we went to Disneyland for our first time for our 6 year anniversary, and it was absolutely magical. Um,
Oh.
but the whole trip, I was like, "I'm definitely getting engaged here. This is why we're on this trip." Like, I feel like I'm getting engaged because like 6 years together, our first dates were at Disney, all of our anniversaries were at Disney. It has to be here. And so, like,
Mhm.
every night with, like, the fireworks, I'm like, "It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen." And, like, all my friends were like, "Get your nails done. Like, put on a nice outfit. Like,
Yes,
it's
yes.
gonna happen."
I was gonna say, "Well, how are your nails?"
Yeah, I
For
was
those
like,
classic pictures.
yes, so I was, like, all ready for it, like, I thought it was gonna happen, and it didn't, and,
So
it actually
each night you
happened.
were, like, freaking
Yes, I
out,
was like,
like, "Is it gonna be now?
"Yes,
Is it gonna"
yes." Like, at the
Anytime you walked
fireworks.
across the castle, just, "Is it now? Is it now?"
I know, I was, like, waiting in anticipation, like, "Oh my gosh, I know it's gonna happen, like, is it in his bag? Like, is he holding it?" But
Right,
it
right.
actually happened the weekend after he took me to a cabin in the mountains, and that's where he did it, and he was like, "To be honest, I was gonna do it at Disneyland, but the ring wasn't ready." And he's like, "And
Oh.
also, I thought you were expecting it. I wanted you to not expect it at all." So,
Oh, I love god. Oh, and again, like you were mentioning with your friends, like the highs and lows and, you were thinking it was gonna happen at Disney, and then it didn't, so your guard was probably, like, down at that point, like, "Oh, it's not gonna happen," or I don't wanna say
Mhm.
it's not gonna happen, but you're like, "Oh, maybe next Disney trip," and then you go to the mountains. That's so sweet. It's, like, so intimate and so oh my gosh, I love that. So, Disney wedding?
We've actually looked into it, but I listened to your one podcast about that guy that had the Disney wedding, and he did it like the
Yes.
right way. He did it pretty like inexpensively, but
Yes.
I have a lot of people that I want to come, so it would probably be very expensive. So I don't
Yes.
know, but it's an
Yes. Oh
option,
my
but it's very pricey.
well, I think you should definitely have since Disney plays such an important role in your relationship and your journey, I think you guys should definitely, have Disney elements in your wedding for sure, just because it means so much to
Yeah.
you both, and so
Yeah.
oh my gosh, and, going back to my original question, is he as big of a Disney fan? I know you kinda met at the parks and stuff, but are or is it like an equal love, or you're a little bit more, or how does that work? Like, who plans the vacations? Let's just ask that.
Well, I'm, like, always the planner, he just, like, goes with everything, but,
Mhm.
he's definitely as big of a Disney fan as me. I might just be, like, a little bit more. Like, every Friday night, we're like, "What should we watch?" We're like, let's just watch, like, a Disney movie," or
Yes, yes.
we both love it. He grew up, going to Disney too with his mom, so he loves
Oh.
it just as much, but we're both, like, really big Marvel fans. Like, he got me into Marvel this past year. We literally watched all of them in a row. We watched all of them, and now we're rewatching them.
Oh my gosh, I need to join you. I love Marvel. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes! And Avengers
So you're
Campus for our first time
I was gonna say
was
that was my first time at Avengers Campus too. What did you think of it?
oh my gosh. So I knew we had to rope drop it because like that was like the one thing I really, really wanted to see. So like 8 a.m. I was sprinting in and we did web slingers and guardians right away, but I was just like blown away. It was incredible, especially with all the characters walking around
Yes.
and the music. It's just like it was amazing. Is that how you felt too?
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't know if you've listened to the episode, but the reason I became a Marvel fan because I'd had such fun interactions with the characters, the Marvel characters
Mhm.
and the superheroes at the meet and greets. I was like, I want to have more conversations with you, so I want to learn more. And so I did the same thing you're doing, is all of the Marvel movies. Now there's been so much more since that time because my homework was to be done by Infinity War to see that in theaters, and
Mhm.
so I was able to do that. But okay, wait. So did you go meet any characters when you were there?
So we saw Ant-Man, the Wasp, we saw
Oh.
Iron Man and Spider-Man, but the lines were so long. We were like,
Mhm.
"Oh, we have so much to do." And I waited in line to see Loki, who I love. And
Oh,
right as we got to him, they were like, "Loki's done for today. Sorry guys, he'll be back." So
dang.
no, we didn't get to meet any of them, but we did get to see them like when we got to see them on the
Uh,
platform or whatever that is.
yes, yes,
Yes, like
the Avengers Tower, not Avengers Tower. We know what it is. We're Marvel
yeah.
fans, I promise.
Yeah, so, like, my, like, favorite part of the trip, honestly, was just, like, sitting in Avengers Campus. It was kind of, like, by sunset time, and we just sat there for, like, maybe an hour or 2 hours just watching all the characters and just, like, watching
Oh.
everything happen. It was so cool. I loved it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're gonna go back. Once they're done with that e-ticket attraction that's gonna be in Avengers Campus and that building that we cannot think of the name of, the one with the Quinjet on it, that building.
Yes, yes.
And we're gonna go. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much fun. Ah,
I would
I
love
l-
that. I know I'm like, I can't wait to come back and see all their new stuff because I'm sure they're gonna add a lot more. So
yes, and it's such a good. ju- the- I'm lost for words. I love it so much. It makes my little Marvel heart so happy, and I can imagine it makes your Marvel heart so happy too. Do you have a favorite character or superhero, whether they're regular in the parks or not? And who would be your dream Marvel character to meet?
Definitely Thor. I love
Yes,
Thor. I love
he's so
Spider-Man
fun.
and Thor, those are my favorites,
Yes.
but, yeah, I definitely would love to meet them, that would be so fun.
Mhm.
What about you?
And what
Who's
did
your favorite?
Oh, I would love to meet Wanda, not Dark Wanda,
Mhm.
even though her costume was so cool when they had that last year, but Wanda's my girl. I've loved her since, Age of Ultron, which is back in
Mm,
the day. I know she's gotten a lot more popular now since WandaVision
yeah,
and,
for sure.
Multiverse of Madness, but she is just badass, and I love her. Um, what did you think, as a Disney World local who has done Toy Story Mania, what did you think of Web Slingers?
So, I loved it. I know there's a lot of, like,
Yeah.
mixed opinion on it, but
Mhm.
I loved it because I love Spider-Man. Those are, like, some of my favorite Marvel
Yes.
movies. So I think it was a lot of fun. Like, I was, like, full on, like, I was, like, working up a
Yes.
sweat. Like, it was
Yes,
like a
yes.
workout. So
Ab
I loved it, but my boyfriend was like, "I did not like that. That was too much."
Oh my
But I
gosh.
can't, like, compare them. I feel like Toy Story Mania and Web Slingers are it's like the same
2
concept,
different.
but it was too different. Like, I love them both equally.
Yes, I agree. For a ride, that is kid friendly, it works absolutely perfectly, but I will say after the 2nd scene, I was just throwing my limbs everywhere, and I was like, "Just get something," and because you get
Yes.
competitive, you're with your friends, and you wanna do good, and so it is
Uh-huh.
much more exhausting, and I don't work out as much as you, but my forearms were dead the next day.
Yes, yes, I was the same because I was going hard because, like, I'm going to win. I'm, like, very
Mhm.
competitive with my boyfriend. I'm like, "I'm going to beat you." So I did
Yes.
twice. So
Heck yeah. Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Oh, that's a way you can incorporate fitness and Disney together. It's like go on web slingers and then walk 10 miles around the parks easy. Like that's how you can incorporate it together. Do squats in
Yeah.
line.
Exactly, Disney itself is such a workout,
Yes.
like, I have clients who they're like, "Oh, I'm going to Disney for the day." I'm like, "Skip your workout because you're gonna get so many steps in, so you don't even need to do your workout that day." So
Absolutely. Have you seen those funny, like TikTok, Instagram reel videos of, prepping for Disney and it's a dad on a treadmill that's on a crazy incline, like pushing a stroller or a kid on his shoulder with a big backpack. And it's just like,
oh my
dude,
gosh. Honestly, you need to do that, like, I feel like don't
yes,
people don't come prepared for as much walking and stuff you have to do.
yes.
That's
And then with
awesome, you have to
children,
send me that.
I'll have to oh my gosh, I'll have to refind it too, and then there was another one of, like, all the positions you could hold a the toddler at the parks, and on the shoulders, on the hip, he was curling the child at one point, or, like, he would put good examples of, like, end of park day after fireworks, and the kid's, like, conked out and everything, and he's just cradling the kid, and it's like,
Yeah,
you
I'm
gotta get
sure
that
with
wo
kids, it's a lot more work than what we're used to, so
Yes, oh my goodness, Uh, I think you should come out with a specific pre-Disney workout plan or fitness,
Yes,
regimen that they should do. Like, "Oh, you're going to
yes.
Disney? Alright, go walk 2 miles, minimum every single day up to your trip."
Honestly, yes, yes, and, I don't remember when you said it, but you were like, "If I have kids, I'll have to train them every night to, like, walk 2 miles." That will be me too, they're gonna have to keep
Yes,
up.
yes, oh my goodness, like, we will have the stroller, but that is only holding the backpacks, that is in case of emergency, you will sit on
Yes,
it. Your little legs will go, go, go.
exactly, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Well, when you come up with that fitness regimen, we will post it on our socials and
Yes.
our website. It'll be so much fun. Oh my gosh. But
Absolutely.
Grace, is there anything else you'd like to add about your story or your relationship that you guys are now engaged, or just your love of Disney before we close out? And if not, where can we find you?
Yeah, I think that was it. That was kind of my full story, pretty summed up. And we'll see. Maybe we'll have that Disney wedding, or at least just some Disney touches for sure. But
Hmm.
we do want to try to do our honeymoon like half at Disney and half maybe Hawaii or something. We definitely want to
Ooh.
get those pins. What is it? Just married pins. So we'll definitely have to do
Yes.
that.
Oh my
But
goodness.
If you wanna find me, my name is Graceful Health on Instagram, but hopefully when I move back to Florida, I can get more Disney content. I would love to start a Disney page, that would be so much fun, that would be like a dream for me, but for now, my name is Graceful_Health, and I do all health and wellness and fitness, but a little bit of Disney here and there, so
Wonderful. Well, you'll be our go-to girl when we're training for the parks for sure. But
Yes, yes.
oh my gosh. And we'll link everything down in the show notes to make it super easy for you guys to find Grace. And Grace, thank you so much for coming on and reaching
Oh,
out.
I'm so
You've been
happy
such a
to be
delight.
here. Oh, you too. I'm so happy to be here. This was so fun.